Albert Awol, the voice of the jungle, broadcasting on the DVC to all points unknown. If you're within the sound of my voice, you're listening to Welcome Home Podcast on the DVC.
Hello and welcome home. This episode of Welcome Home is brought to you by DVC Rental Store. Thank you for joining us on episode 337 of Welcome Home, a Disney Parks and Vacation Club podcast. I'm Tom. I'm here with Trevor, or Kevin, as I accidentally called you before the show.
Oh, no, please don't.
I don't know what's going on.
I know. It's a weird thing.
You said that you have a weird thing where people just call you Kevin, which I didn't know about until I accidentally just called you. I don't even know why I called you Kevin. It's weird.
And everyone does it, and I've never gotten a good reason why. It's just people think my name is Kevin for some reason. So.
All right, Kevin. Well,
okay.
Well, listen, you're going to laugh at this, Trevor, but we have a lot of listeners actually in my area because I think there's a lot, and I don't know, we've got Carrie from DVC Resale Market's going to join us in a second here, and I don't know what the breakdown on this is, and maybe Carrie can tell me, but I feel like there's a lot of DVC owners that live in the Southeast because you're like a drive. You're an easy
it's close
drive.
Enough.
Yeah. So like a lot of our listeners, are in this kind of area. They're down here and all. I mean, most of the United States is affected by this insane storm, and so we're just dealing, with the potential of a really bad storm here. So I'm recording this before the bad storm is getting here, in the hopes that I will still have, I can get this together tonight and still get it out on Monday if I don't have power. So, so that's what we've been dealing with. We're getting ready for a big storm here. It's crazy.
Yeah.
But
enjoy your cold weather.
Yeah. I mean, this is just a Tuesday for Trevor. So,
I mean, we just came out of minus 22. So, it's warmed up to a nice -9 today. So.
Yeah,
that's like t-shirt weather almost.
I still can't get over the other day when you said, "Yeah, it's been unseasonably warm here. It was 0 degrees today," and I'm like, "What? How is that unseasonably warm?"
It is. It is for this time of year.
I mean, it was like 78 on Christmas here. That was unseasonably warm, right?
It's all about perspective.
Yeah, exactly. But we should introduce our guest, who really shouldn't need introduction. Carrie has been on our show a bunch of times, but it's been a long time.
Yeah. Hi, Carrie. Welcome back to the show.
Well, thank you so much. I'm so excited to be here, and Happy New Year.
Yes, Happy New Year.
Happy New Year. Yeah, I can't believe January is almost over already. It's flown by.
One more week, and it's going out with a bang for the majority of the country, as you were just saying, with this upcoming storm.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Yes. I know. No, I'm so excited to be here, and thank you, for having me back, and just to, enjoy always the banter with you two, and just sitting down with really great friends. We were talking about the storm. The majority of my family's up in Boston, and I was just saying how, they're all saying, don't call us this weekend because it's going to be 85 and sunny on Sunday here. So nobody was able to talk to me right now.
I can't do that, Carrie. I can't do that. That's too hot.
I agree with you. It is unsafe. And I'm like Elsa. Like everyone has a Disney character. I'm like Elsa. The cold doesn't bother me. I don't know that I want 0 degrees, but I also don't want 85 in January. But I know.
Well, that's what happens when you're from up north, though. You just kind of get used to it. Like Trevor's just used to being cold. I grew up in New Jersey. I am used to the cold. The cold doesn't bother me, but the heat bothers me.
I'm with you. The only reason why I live where I live was because I worked for Disney for 20 years. And had Disney been up in Massachusetts, I never would have left, but I wanted so much to work for Disney, and that came with heat and humidity. But there's also magic and pixie dust. So it's like, pick your hard.
Yeah, there's trade-offs.
I say that to my wife all the time. I was like, if Disney was here, I would try to work for them. But I don't want to move to Florida. Like, I just can't do it yet. Like, I know when I get older, I'll be like my parents, where it's like, if their thermostat's not set to 76 degrees, it's basically freezing in their house. It's, and I need to get to that point where I'm always cold, and then I can deal with 90 degrees.
And then it feels lovely all the time here because you're always cold.
Exactly.
Yes,
exactly.
I know.
So, well, Carrie, since you haven't been on in a while, and we have some new listeners, maybe give a little bit of background of your Disney background and your DVC resale market background and all that.
Yeah, I'll make it really quick, but I'm Karen McPherson. I come from Boston originally. I spent more than 20 years working for the Walt Disney Company directly. I came down on the college program a million years ago and just fell in love with the company. My sister did the program too, and we grew up as Disney kids. So we weren't DVC. We weren't a DVC family, but we loved the Wonderful World of Disney on Sunday nights and coming to the parks and Disneyland and things like that. So Disney was kind of in our blood. My mom was like a Mouseketeer in the 50s, so it just kind of ran deep. And when we knew you could actually work for the company, my sister, who's older than I am, she did the college program. And then I followed suit and came down and did that. But then I came back to the company in 2000. Almost 26 years ago, full time. And so I had lots of different roles. That's, one of the great things about being a cast member is it's one company, but many, many, many different experiences and opportunities. And so just the highlights of what I did is, I worked for DVC as my very second job working for Disney. I worked for member services. So I was taking reservations and helping members with points. And I liked that job, but I always wanted to be the sales guide. I was like, how do you get to sit with people?
Yeah.
How do I get to give the free ice cream to people? Is that
how do you get give the free ice cream away? That just seemed like a really great job. And I thought, I don't mind being behind the scenes, but I'm kind of more front of the scenes kind of gal. And so it took a long time, but I worked for DVC in 2002 and then went on to many different roles. My favorite role of all time, I was a Walt Disney World ambassador in 2008. And that's, a lot of people say to me, what do you do with that? And that's kind of the emissary of goodwill. You're representing the company all around the world and really just speaking on behalf of the company. And you're spreading and sharing good news, which was wonderful. I didn't have any of the drama that can come along with being a spokesperson sometimes with the company. But I also was a recruiter for Disney, college recruiter, and then internship recruiter, and then became a sales guide. And so I felt like my whole sort of journey sort of came full circle by being a recruiter. That's how I started. And then being a sales guide with DVC. And so I sold DVC for about 3 years. And that's how I met Nick. I met Derek, Marissa, Danny. So many of my really great friends today we met as guides at DVC. And then I rounded out my career. I was a sales manager with Club 33. And so when Club 33 came to Walt Disney World, I was on the opening team of that and really helped kind of pave the way for Club 33 to open here at Walt Disney World. And then COVID hit and I had the most seniority on the team. And I thought, well, I know I'm on somebody's list because I have 20 years and that sort of was the end of my Disney career with the Walt Disney Company, but it was such a good bow. It was it was 2 decades. It felt like the right timing. And then I got, a magical call from Nick Cotton who said, so sorry to hear that you were laid off with Disney, but I might have something for you, with his sweet little Southern accent. So I and came over and worked with World of DVC and the whole company, and then became a sales guide here with sales agent with DVC Resale Market, and have seen it transform into what is now Keyholder Vacations, which just gives us the opportunity to just help and plan and give our guests even more opportunities to use their DVC points or go on vacation and just really take amazing experiences with their families.
Yeah, we were joking before the show because I think anybody that listens to the show knows that I bring up World of DVC every episode at the end, and I forgot that you guys are not World of DVC anymore, that you're Keyholder Vacations. And I'm like, oh man, I can't believe I forgot that. I never updated. We never updated in our ad or anything. And now we remember now that we got it. It's Keyholder Vacations. So
it's all fixed now.
First of the year, good time to clean all that up. It's all good.
And we were just remarking too, like, I mean, when we started this podcast in 2018, right?
17, I think.
17. The very first guest we had on the show, and it was probably a couple of episodes in, was Nick. And at the time, it was just DVC Resale Market, and that was it. It was just, that was, the only company that, and I mean, it's incredible how much you guys have grown in that period of time, and become just a company that handles everything, but, between rentals and financing and vacation planning and, I mean, buying tickets, all this stuff you guys do now. And it's kind of crazy it's for me anyway, Tara. I don't know what it is for you, but it was just funny because we used to have Nick on all the time. I guarantee we probably couldn't get Nick on at this point. Nick's probably way too busy for us.
Yeah. Well, absolutely.
what I think, Nick is just kind of, that ingenuity forward thinker, and that innovator. And I think that's one of the main things that attracted me to the company, to Nick, is that, that's what Walt Disney World is. That's what the Disney company is innovators and futuristic and this, and, trying to think about how can we make things better and more seamless and guest service. And I love that we really pride ourselves at Resale Market, at Rental Store, at Unlocked Magic, Be Our Guest Vacations, on that guest service and really connecting the pieces together. Because I don't think there's anything worse than saying, I now have to call this person to do this job, and 9 different people involved. Where with Keyholder Vacations, yes, you might work with 9 different people for one experience, but we're all connected. We all can help you together. So we all have the end goal, in mind. And so I think that's just what's, a benefit. If I was, I'm very proud to work for the company. I'm proud to work for Nick, but I'm also proud that our guests can come and have a pleasant, seamless experience with people who really like Disney, who really enjoy the magic. We're not just doing something that we don't love ourselves. And, I'm a member myself. We go to the parks a lot. So something that's in our blood as well.
Yeah, I don't think we've ever had a single person come back to us and said, you recommended DVC Resale Market to us, a rental store, and I had a terrible experience. Like, no one said that.
That's never happened for us.
Doesn't happen at all. So, but anyway, and by the way, tell Derek that we miss him, and we haven't talked to Derek in such a long time, and we listen, Carrie, please, we love you, and we love Danny, and we love all the people that we worked with at DVC Resale Market, but we just haven't seen Derek in a long time either.
I understand. Derek is great. I just saw him. We went to the parks, I think it was the day after Christmas, and his son Owen turned 21. So you have to go to Epcot and have.
Got to go. Well, yeah, you got to go. I mean, hopefully he didn't start out with Drinking Around the World. That's not a good place to start out at 21.
He started out at the pool and then went later on in the afternoon. They stayed at the boardwalk. But yeah, Derek, he's doing great. And I will share your sentiments with him.
Yeah, if you're gonna do that, if you're gonna do the 21 at World Showcase there's no better place to stay than Boardwalk or Beach Club, so you can wander your way over there, not have to worry about transportation or anything else. It's just right there.
Stumble your way back home if you need to.
Exactly.
The last time I stayed at Boardwalk, that's exactly what happened. Anyway, so is there anything you want to highlight, Carrie, before we get started? Sorry, Trevor, I didn't mean to interrupt you.
Go ahead. Yeah.
Anything you want to highlight, Carrie, necessarily, about what's going on with Resale Market right now? Or?
This is such a great time of the year right now, the beginning of the year. We do our winter promotion, which is called Red Hot Deals right now. Yeah. So as guests go to the website, it is really one of the best times if you're looking for a contract, whether you're adding on or thinking about jumping in. This is such a great time because if you see the moniker that says Red Hot Deals, what that means is that listing is marked 10% off of the recommended, the market price, essentially. So it's already discounted in addition to being on resale, so it's discounted there as well. And what that means is that because it's discounted, there's no negotiation with the seller. There's no haggling or anything like that. So if you see the listing that says Red Hot Deals and it works for you, jump on it, because when those go, they go super fast. And I always remind people too, negotiations are fun. They can be really fun to, kind of find the best deal and this and that. But while you're negotiating, somebody could come in and make a full price offer on that listing and grab it right up from you. So this is a great way to just sort of act fast, grab a great deal, and know that you're getting really one of the best deals that's out there with the Red Hot Deals. So that started last Sunday, whatever last Sunday was, the 18th or 17th. But anyway, it's on right now and it goes to the end of February. February 28th will be the last time. So we get new listings in every single day. So if you don't have our app, I highly recommend the app as well, because you can put a alert on there too. So you said I want Beach Club 100 points. This is sort of my price range, and I need a June use year. If that contract comes up, it'll alert you on the app. So that's
how I ended up with my last resale contract.
Oh, is it really? Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I had an alert in there for a while for an Animal Kingdom 100 to 120 points.
Yeah.
What's my use year? April or March? I forget. Whatever it is. I don't pay attention to the use year. I don't know why. I just don't. It doesn't.
I don't know why you don't pay attention to the use year. It matters.
It's literally never become. It's never been relevant to me in any way. So but okay, that's great. So now's a good time to buy, right? So that's good.
It really is.
Go check out those deals. And it's not like, if you're negotiating for a car, whereas like your car sells and there's just like they got another one on the lot. Like this is the one contract. If somebody else comes in with a better deal, it's gone. So
it's gone. Yeah, exactly. So if you're thinking about it, if you've been on the fence, if you're like, maybe 2026 is the year, this is the time of the year to do it.
Great.
Makes sense. Yeah. All right. So we have a bunch of questions here for you, Carrie. So if it's all right, we're just going to start going through them because we want people to, or we want to try and get your insight on things that are going on in the market and yeah, just what overall what looks like trends happening right now and everything. So I guess we'll just start with what is the state of the resale market right now? Are you feeling it's a buyer's or a seller's market? And do you see any trends with like specific resorts or anything going on?
Yeah. So the trend I would say right now is listings. We do need listings. And you think about that red hot deals right now. If you're a seller and you're thinking, this is a trend I'm seeing. I have a contract. I want to sell this contract to buy this contract. I have been seeing that more and more. So I have a guest out in California. I'm trying to keep their resort straight. They have they have a Polynesian listing.
Mm-hmm.
Live in California. They want a Grand Californian contract.
Oh.
So they sold their Polynesian to buy this Grand California contract. And then the buyer of their Polynesian wants to sell her Aulani contract to buy the Polynesian because she's relocated. It's this whole big puzzle. So I'm seeing a lot of that where people are selling because they're wanting something else. And I think a lot of times sellers don't think about that. They think, well, I'm stuck with Beach Club or I'm stuck with Grand Cal, but I live on the West Coast now or I live on the East Coast. It's not a swap where it's just an easy, swap something over. It is a transaction. It's a deed. It's, we've got to go through some steps here. But that's a big trend that I'm seeing as well, versus people just selling their listings and just kind of being done with Disney. Disney also in the resale market, when we see more of the listings come up, that's when we'll see it, kind of turn into that seller's market. Right now, it's a little bit on the soft side. So we definitely do need more listings. And they'll come. They typically come the beginning of the year as well.
That actually answered the next question I had is, do you think the trend of low resale inventory is going to continue? Because I know I was reading on your site in December, you guys had like a incredibly low inventory. It seems like it's picked up a little bit, but
Yes.
do you think that's going to continue? Do you think are people just hanging on to their contracts more or, what's going on there?
Yeah, I think it will pick up. I do. I think the beginning of the year is usually when we see kind of that wave, that influx of buyers and sellers. People kind of go, we used the analogy earlier that we're cleaning out our closets right now, whether to stay warm if you lose power in the storm or for me just to kind of purge and just sort of start the year anew. And I think, with listings and whatnot, I think families are going, are we using it? Are we going to be using it in the next 5 to 10 years? Or do we prefer something different, or do we want to, instead of having this big contract, do we sell that and get a smaller contract because we're not using it as much? So I think that when we see the trends, this is typically the front end of the year is where we see a lot of that uptick. People have sat around their dining room tables for holidays and gone, is this the year we buy DVC? Is this the year we actually have our big family reunion and, spend 500 points on a grand villa? And so I do think that we will see that trending back up again.
500 points on a grand villa. I spent 100 points on a grand villa for one night at Bay Lake for the Christmas party this year, Gary. And I felt really weird about it.
I don't know if you knew. I did a Polynesian bungalow.
Oh, Trevor's going to do that next year. He's going to want to do it.
It's on our to-do list. Yeah.
Oh, I did it for one night and I did it for my 50th birthday and it was spectacular. It was, and now any June that comes around, all my friends and family are like, where's your birthday this year? I'm like, well, it's not in a bungalow. But
I got to spend that many points on a bungalow again, but
yeah, I'm worried once we stay there that it'll be hard not to stay there.
It's very hard. It is spectacular. It is. There's just nothing like it. It's you. Even though it's close, you're close to your neighbors. You still. We felt like we were the only people in the world. I mean, it was just awesome, and the fireworks. It's
that's cool.
Yeah,
it's spectacular.
I'm looking forward to that. So yeah, glad to hear it.
You'll have to let me know what you think of it.
For sure.
DVC is a life ruiner in that way because in a good way, right? Because like once I've talked about this many times, we never stayed deluxe, right? Before we bought DVC, we always stayed at value resorts because we were just like, we're never in the room, like whatever, who cares? And then on my honeymoon, we stayed at Animal Kingdom. It was, for our honeymoon, we were like, let's stay at Animal Kingdom. And then I think we literally walked through the door and we like looked, just looked up at, at Animal Kingdom there. And I think my wife turned to me. She's like, "We can't go back now." She's like, "We can't go back to value now. We just can't do it." And then that turned into DVC, and
that was us at the Grand Californian years ago. Yeah.
Another really special place. You can't. I think with DVC, I never call it a timeshare because I feel like timeshare is kind of like. You just kind of use it and move on. Yeah. It really is vacation ownership. It's membership. It's a community. And I'll tell you, for me, just the heart of it, you could do all your spreadsheets and whatnot and everything. And I'm sort of analytical, but I'm definitely more an expressive personality. But for me to see my parents, who's given us so much in our lives, sit on the balcony with a cocktail at the Polynesian bungalow with my friends and family in total relaxation, it like gives me goosebumps because I'm like, that, and my birthday's in June. It was on a Friday. So, I mean, and it's the first day of summer. So I'm kind of screwed all around because it's expensive.
It is.
Not on a value season. It wasn't on a Monday. And somebody said to me, what would this room normally say? This would be about $4,000 a night.
Yeah.
Yep.
And there's no way I would pay that.
No.
I just used my points. Yeah. It was, the heart of DVC is just like it's just huge.
Yeah, go ahead, Trevor.
I was going to say, I know you said you're an expressive person, but our next question here actually is a spreadsheet question.
Way to go from super positive to the
I know. We just finished having that amazing conversation, but we need to talk about. We're going to talk about an elephant in the room, as you said earlier. So can you provide some details about the new fee for resale contracts that Disney has, and also? Follow up to that, how do you think that will impact the resale market?
Yeah, that's a great question. And it's a very fair topic. It is the elephant in the room that people don't want to talk about, and it would be easy, I think, for us at Resale Market to just say, "Oh, we don't really want to talk about that fee." But here's the reality of it: the fee it's no joke, right? It's not pocket change. We're not all walking around with $500 just in our back pocket, but it's a fee that is very well known and very common in this industry that Disney has never done. And so I look at it as they're catching up. They caught up to the industry standard. And when you think about Disney, a lot of times I think people want to say, myself and my family included, do they nickel and dime everything? This to me didn't feel like a nickel and dime. It felt like there is a lot of work in the back end for DVC to record the deed, transfer the points, and get everything sort of where it legally needs to be. And in order to do that, there is a big sort of push on the back end of whatever team is doing that with DVC. So I don't look at it as just a frivolous fee that Disney's charging. I look at it as an admin fee that has always been there in the industry, and now Disney's charging it.
They're just not eating it anymore. They're just passing it over.
They're not eating it anymore. You're right.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. I mean, there's a real cost there. There's a lot of, like you said, there's a lot of work on the back end. And then they weren't charging a fee for it. So it stinks, but Yeah,
it does. But I think if you just balance that into your budget sheet, kind of laughing about being analytical versus expressive. My expressive side can justify anything, basically. My brother-in-law, who's very analytical, he's a bank examiner, so he is to the penny. He would say, that $500, what are we getting a value out of that? Well, maybe the value is in the safety of knowing that this team is totally dedicated to transferring these points correctly, transferring all of the points correctly, what's banked, what's borrowed, what's been, what do you have available, and then recording the deed accurately, securely and efficiently. I think that's all part of that $500 fee as well.
So I know when this first it didn't really get announced. They kind of threw it into like an FAQ on their website and somebody noticed and then it, went around. But there was a lot of questions as to whether this was a buyer fee or a seller fee so where did we land on that? Who has to pay for this fee actually?
Yeah, that's a great question. It's a buyer fee. It is the buyer fee because the buyer's the one receiving the new deed. The buyer is the one receiving the new points as well. So if you look at it like annual dues, the seller wouldn't pay $1,000 on 100 points that they're not going to use. The buyer does. And so the seller is relinquishing the deed over, but the buyer is receiving it. So it would be a buyer's fee.
Do you think this is going to disproportionately affect small contracts now? And I don't know in what way it affects them, but small contracts now it's a little bit more easier to swallow when you're buying like a 150 point contract, because it's just, you're already paying a lot of money. But with these smaller contracts, I wonder how that's going to impact the pricing on them or even just the availability of them. If people are going to list less of them or, I don't know. I'm just curious to what your thoughts are on that.
Yeah. I mean, just my own opinion on that. I don't think so. Small contracts are still rare to find. DVC starts at $150, 150 points, not $150, 150 points.
If only it started at $150. It's like you can't even get through the door for that.
We'd be in line buying more points. But they start at 150 point minimum. And when I was a DVC guide, you could start, I think the lowest was 50 points. You could become a member at 50 points. And I think for members, the lowest you could add on was starting at 25. And so now you've gone from 50 point to become a member to 150. So those small contracts are still really rare and hard to find. So when you do find them, the majority of our contracts that are on our website that are smaller are usually going to be full price offers only because they are so rare. So if you see a contract, look at the bottom, it usually will say full price offer, meaning that the seller's not going to negotiate. But I think to your question about will the $500 deter somebody from listing a contract or buying a contract, I don't think it would deter anybody from certainly listing it because that's not their fee. From buying it, again, I go back to you have to look at what are you getting from it? Is it just a frivolous fee or is it something that the industry has been doing that Disney hasn't been doing? And I hope all of us, and I say this for myself too, kind of have amnesia as the year goes on a little bit that we sort of forget about the $500 fee. It's kind of like the baggage fee. Like if you used to fly Southwest, there was no baggage fee. Now all of a sudden you're paying $35. It stinks, but they kind of caught up to the industry standard.
But it is what it is. Yeah. That's understandable. I would hope it would make the ROFR process a little bit faster too. I don't know, maybe.
That's a really good point. I don't know if any of that money goes to the ROFR team, and what they're doing, but that's a really good point. We have been seeing ROFR come back very, very fast.
There you go. Maybe they're using some of that fee to get more people in there to make ROFR a little faster.
Right.
That actually feeds into our next question, though, about buybacks, though. Like, Trevor, I don't know if you want to.
Yeah. Well, yeah. I was kind of going down that same line too. Is we've seen that buybacks have picked up this last year. Do you think that trend will continue going into 2026?
Yeah, we've saw such a turn in ROFR this year. It was really, really incredible. If you look on our website, Paul Krieger puts out an awesome report every single month. I mean, we as agents just devour it because there's so much good information. You can see really the top 4 resorts that are ROFR'd, and I think it's Grand Floridian, Old Key West, Grand Cal, and Animal Kingdom. Or the 4, that have been ROFR'd the most. And as it's a bummer for the buyer when their contract does get bought back. It's like, I always hate sending that email, but I always remind buyers too, it's not such a bad thing. That's adding value. We want to see the ROFR, monster kind of come out and buy back some of these contracts and whatnot. I think personally, I do think it will continue. I don't know that we'll see a surge necessarily this year like we did this year, but maybe it will sort of maintain at where it's at right now, where we're seeing some of the top 4 resorts that I just mentioned continue to get bought back. We saw resurgence 2 years ago, I think it was, with Polynesian.
Yeah.
We're not seeing really any
'Cause-
Polynesian.
Well, yeah, I would assume that was largely because of the tower and people trying to get in there. Yeah.
Yep. It was exactly because all of a sudden we saw all Polynesian was just going crazy one May, and then it just stopped. Yeah.
It's worth it because like 2024, they bought back like nothing, right? If I remember correctly, it was at 23. Am I already like forgetting?
Yeah, 2024 was very light, 23 and 24, and then I think it was in 24, if I recall. I was out doing some errands, and I got a text message from either Marissa or Derek that said Polynesian's being bought back like crazy. Where are you? I said, I'm at Target. I have to go home because I'm sure I have some buyers who are probably, really, worried right now. And but like I said, I tell people it's not a bad thing. You're not losing any money. The deposit you put down is fully refundable, or we can move it to a new contract. It's just patience is all. But all good things take time.
Yeah, and it should note to your point on what Paul wrote for December, and basically for the year, it was a 4.7% buyback rate. So your chances of actually having a buyback is still pretty low.
It's still low,
still pretty low. But yeah, they bought back almost 30% of the Grand Cal contracts, which is that's pretty impressive. It's a lot. And Grand Flow was like 17%. And Animal Kingdom was a big one too. So
I get asked too a lot, how do we avoid the Rofer monster? There's really no way to avoid it. We don't know what Disney is going to ever buy back, so we can never guarantee anything. But what I do tell people is the stronger your offer, the closest to the asking price, agreeing to all terms, the closing costs and the annual dues, that does help. Doesn't certainly guarantee, but things like that are going to help, maybe not get as swept up as some of the others.
So what I'm interpreting that as is, if you're buying a DVC contract, don't necessarily hunt for the ultra cheap contract, because those are the highest risk ones at the end of the day. Or I guess it's a trade-off of your time there, that if you do go for the cheap ones, accept that there's a bigger chance that you're going to end up getting that contract snatched by Rofer, just because, like you said, you can't offer the lower, or you can go for the lower offers, but that comes at a risk. So that makes sense.
You have to do the seller first if you're going to offer really low too.
There's that part too. They may not even accept your offer if you
may not
try
even
and do
accept
that.
it, right? Yeah. But the stronger the better. Think when buyers, sometimes we have to think like sellers do. To think, would I let this contract go for this amount? And if you wouldn't as a buyer thinking as a seller, so, and that's where we come in too. Our team is so proficient and, really educated. Every single agent on our team has been DVC guides. And so, we're all pretty up to date on the information. The blogs are so good also. Paul does a great job with that.
I definitely agree with that. So we're going to go from like kind of hard data here to speculation. We're gonna make you speculate which is always fun. So the question we're getting is obviously Lakeshore Lodge is the next one here, which I will always call Reflections. Much like Hollywood Studios will always be MGM, Lakeshore Lodge will always be Reflections to me. But Lakeshore Lodge, last time when I was down in, when was I there? Thanksgiving. And I, went by the lake there. I was like, whoa, man, that thing is really getting up there. Yes. Like it's moving fast. So the question is, when do you think they're going to start selling Lakeshore Lodge?
I know. And you call it Reflections. I keep calling it Lakeside Lodge.
That's where my head is with it too. I want to call it Lakeside for some reason. Yeah.
Yes. I'm like, don't be that, little old lady that always makes the mistakes on words and people just let me go. Like, correct me. Lakeshore. So Lakeshore Lodge, we drove by it too. We did a firework cruise over Christmas. And so the captain took us by. I could not believe how massive. Did you see?
It's huge.
It's huge.
It's insane. It's insane how big that resort is. I don't know. I mean, we've seen like pictures and stuff of it, and like what the layout's going to be. But like when you actually see it in person, you're like, man, that thing is massive. It's
it
huge.
Really is. I think we see it a lot from Wilderness Lodge, and it's like, oh, yeah, that looks right. But then it goes on and on and on. So I think, typically sales start about 12 to 18 months prior to the resort opening. So depending on when it opens in 2027, we may see it we may see sales start in 2026. No, early 2027. I have not heard anything other than that, however.
To make you feel better, the original name was Reflections, a Disney Lakeside Lodge. So
thank you.
Yeah,
it was Reflections dash a Disney Lakeside Lodge. So you're kind of good on Lakeside. It's just, if you want to keep calling it that, like I said, I'm going to call it Reflections.
Right.
That's what I'm going to have them try to put that on the contract when I buy there. I'm just kidding. It's interesting to me because Disney still has some inventory there, right? Like Riviera is not sold out yet.
No,
Alani's never going to sell out forever. I mean, I don't think if it ever sold out, that would be kind of crazy.
Yeah.
And I'm sure they still got some Polynesian floating around from the tower, right? Or I don't think they've even declared all that yet.
No, Polynesian still is. I think there's like 30% left or so to sell.
Yeah, they're going to sell that out I feel like fairly quickly. And I did read somewhere they think that Riviera will go fairly soon here too. But Riviera, I feel like, is taking a while. But I mean, it is a pretty nice size resort. But Chris from Discord was asking us. It appears, and by the way, Chris called it Lakeside Lodge too. So you're in good company.
I'm making friends left and right over here with this. I know it.
Lakeside Lodge appears quite large. How much additional DVC capacity do they see Disney needing to meet, they meaning you, needing to meet DVC demand? And I think it's an interesting question because, like I said, we have all those resorts that are there already that are selling, and then now we're going to have another one coming online in the next 6 to 10 months, whatever that might be.
Yeah.
But do you think that they need to keep building these to keep up with the demand?
I think there's such a great demand for DVC because of podcasts like yours, of the community. I do. That's not just a friendly plug. Like, I really do. I think the community of DVC is incredibly strong. And when I see new members come into DVC who sort of have been, peering from over the fence at the community of DVC, and then they get involved with the social media and with the podcasts, then they really feel like, my niece always says, our generation uses this word too much. Tribe. You have found your tribe. But it's kind of true. It's like you speak the same language versus, people, when my family says like, oh, we're going down to Disney, they get a free pass because they're like, oh, they're just going to visit Carrie. But how many Disney adults does their family go, you're going to Disney again? But us DVC people, it's like, where are you staying? You get excited. So I think that the community of DVC keeps the demand really high. What I personally wished Disney would do is, I love all the park expansions and things like that. I think that that's really important to continue to change and move forward. I just wish there was a new park coming. I wish there was some place to have people who come to DVC. The parks do feel a bit overcrowded a lot.
Yeah.
And so I think for that reason, you continue to build DVC resorts, which is great, but you've got to have a place for people to go. And whether that's another water park or another theme park or something, because I don't see the demand of DVC slowing down.
Where would you build the next one, Carrie? If you're back at Disney, but now you work at Imagineering and you're head and you go, I'm going to build a new DVC resort and I want to put it where?
Oh, man.
It's going to be attached to the new park.
I love no, you can't do that's a cop out.
Sorry.
That's a cop out. Because the new park doesn't exist.
But then where would the new park be, right?
That's another question.
I mean, I don't know what they're building, but I do know there's a lot of land near Magic Kingdom. It's kind of like if you're standing at Bay Lake Tower, if you're standing in a room at Bay Lake Tower with a theme park view, it's beyond Magic Kingdom, but sort of before you get to like that Epcot exit on World Drive. It is. There's a big.
Yeah.
I could be completely wrong on that, how big that is, but I always thought it would be so cool. And this is, and now I'm down a real rabbit hole.
No, that's what we do. That's perfect. We love that.
Okay, we love this. Yeah.
We love this. It's the best.
I would have left Magic Kingdom alone. I wouldn't have done. I wouldn't have taken. No, yeah. I loved Rivers of America. I think it's quintessential Magic Kingdom. It's just, but I understand the love of Pixar and Cars and Villains and all that. So I think a Pixar park, a Villains park, would be amazing. Something
Okay.
like that, and it doesn't have to be massive. It doesn't have to be an Epcot or an Animal Kingdom. It can be a Hollywood Studios size park, but someplace, keep Hollywood Studios more of the movies, the magic of the movies and things like that, the behind the scenes, and then build something where Pixar Place at Hollywood Studios, there's so much you could do there, and it's jam-packed in this little tiny place. But to be able to like expand, Andy's backyard and, the Incredicoaster that's out in California, bring that here and, right? Like with monsters coming. And I just think that there's so much imagination with Pixar, and then you've got so much love of the villains, which is so fun because it's Disney's kind of like, Disney's not always known for thrill rides, but you can do something kind of thrilling and really creative and imaginative with the villains. So that's what I would do, and still continue to build DVC, and still continue to do those special things for the DVC members, but. Like I said, kind of down a rabbit hole now. And you're the only one who's ever asked me, by the way. No one's ever asked my opinion.
See, that's what we do here. That's what we we want.
Exactly. We're glad that you got to chime in on that because this is exactly the stuff that we love about we obviously love talking shop about DVC and Disney and all that, but part of the fun too is, like you said, the imagination and the what could happen, right? So.
Yeah, I want them to build a resort in that land between Grand Floridian there and Magic Kingdom. Like put one right there that goes
connect
like
it all.
Yeah, that goes right into Villains Land. Like have it be right there. Like you mean like a villain theme resort? How cool would that be?
I mean, how cool is that?
Right? Yeah. There's a whole piece of land there. There's just a whole bunch of woods. Put it there. You could walk into Magic Kingdom.
Magic Kingdom.
We need another like Bay Lake where you're so close to the resort that you could just walk in.
You need to understand how the Grand Californian operates, Tom. Like it would, yes, like Carrie, right? Yeah, it's like that's a whole other level of like literally. I've actually stayed. My room was right above the exit into California Adventure once when we stayed there. It wasn't a DVC room, but like that, I walk down the stairs and in the park is like that's an insane feeling. So. We need that. We need a resort like that in Florida.
I wouldn't be shocked if they do try to build another Magic Kingdom area resort as they build all this new stuff in the parks, because but the Magic Kingdom resorts they can charge the most for, right? So that's and you're talking about like right next to the park, that's going to be one of the most expensive, if not the most expensive. So that's
location. It doesn't get you're in the heart of Disney right there.
Exactly.
We did have one last question from Chris here that I think you missed that, Tom.
I just skipped over. Sorry, Chris.
So again, just back to contracts. What type of sales movement are you seeing on contracts that expire in 2042? Because we do have, there are some contracts that are getting older and that has been, I know it's been like conversation for a long time about, what happens to these contracts. Are you seeing any different behaviors around buying and selling of those?
It's such a great question. And we don't know what Disney's going to do with the 2042 contracts. We probably won't know for some time either. We can speculate, on what they'll do. But the questions that I get a lot around the 2042, and it's very fair, is people will say, we kind of wanted something to 2060 to 2068, we wanted something longer. I don't know that the length of this is just, again, my opinion. I don't know that the length of the deed necessarily matters so much. If you're looking for the best deal, a deed of, 14 to 16 years, you're going to find a better price per point than on a longer deed. The sweet spot is kind of that Saratoga Springs, Animal Kingdom. They're in the 2054, 2057s. But I think, the 2042, you can still get so many really good deals. I wouldn't worry so much about the length of the deed. If you're going to come to Disney, even for 10 years, and you say, my kids are, 5 and 7, they're going to be 15 and 17 in 10 years. You're still going to use DVC. You're still going to use your points. You're going to break even. You're still going to save money. And I can't ever foresee Disney saying, oh, well, the deeds are up, we're done, and turning them back into resort rooms. I just don't see that happening. So I don't know we don't know what's going to happen, but when I look at, somebody saying, price per point, I have a budget. We have to have 200 points. We don't want to pay a ton in annual dues. The deed sort of length of deed is usually the last thing to think about, on the list. It's usually the price of the resort versus the length of the deed. So it is a factor, but my professional opinion is if you're going to come to Disney for the next 10, 12, 13, 14 years, don't let it be a deterring factor. The moderate resorts are great. They're beautiful. The Port Orleans and Coronados and Caribbean beaches here at Walt Disney World, they're great. But like you said, when you stepped into that Animal Kingdom Savannah View room, there's no going back.
Oh, there's no going back. I don't understand why people don't like Animal Kingdom. I love Animal Kingdom. It's our favorite. We love. There's nothing more magical on this planet than walking out on your porch and seeing a giraffe. Like there just isn't. I don't know. I know, like Trevor, you disagree because you love Polly, and I'm not disagreeing. Polly's
we all have our own vibes. It's fine. Yeah.
I just want a giraffe in the morning. I just want to wake up and be like, oh, what's up, giraffe? Like, hey, how's it going?
You can't argue with that. I mean, I get it.
You really can't argue with that.
Yeah.
But Carrie, it's been such a pleasure having you back again, and this is not going to be the last time. We are going to endeavor to have you guys on the show more often over the next year here. So, and we'll have Danny on too. I know you guys will be switching off a little bit here too.
Danny and I will be swapping out, but it's such a pleasure to see both of you again, and thank you for the time. And I really just always enjoy the conversation and the banter back and forth, and it's just so fun. And if anybody needs anything, dvcresalemarket.com, dvcrentalstore.com. We're all here to help you however we can.
How do they reach you?
Oh, Kerri, Kerri at dvcresalemarket.com. And you can find my bio on the website under team.
Perfect. Thank you so much, Kerri. Really appreciate you joining us.
Thank you both so much.
Thank you.
So that was great having Kerri on. It had been a long time since she joined us. I mean, it was good to hear from her again. By the way, I'm privately lobbying in the background to get Derek back on too. No, and this is again, no offense to Danny and Kerri. We do like interact with them too.
We just want to talk to our friends. Yeah. We made friends with people in DVC Resale Market, and we want to talk to them. That's all it is. So
listen, I'd love to have Marissa back on too, but Marissa's too busy. So I mean, Marissa's a big shot now. So
they're all very, very busy over there, obviously. We'd love to talk to them if we can get a chance. But we should probably do the ad here.
Do the ad
quickly. This episode is sponsored by DVC Rental Store, which is a keyholder vacation company and offers magical vacations at incredible value. Save up to 60% off retail rates at premium Disney resorts. DVC Rental Store now includes deposits as low as 25% at the time of booking and a built-in cancellation policy for every reservation. And as always, DVC Rental Store pays out the most to members looking to rent their points. Want to learn more? Go to dvcrentalstore.com/welcome home or call 1-855-DVC-RENT. That's 382-7368. And when you speak to them, be sure to let them know that Welcome Home sent you.
All right, Trevor. So
let's move away. We've talked a lot of DVC. Let's talk actual park.
A couple of weeks ago, or a couple episodes ago, we had done a Reckless Speculation on some permits that were filed for the Haunted Mansion.
Mm-hmm.
And I think we kind of now-ish know what's going on here, right? It looks like they're adding on to the facade of the Haunted Mansion. And I'm going to assume this has to do with the development, the construction work that's happening behind the Haunted Mansion, right?
Yeah.
Like to block those views a little bit better.
Yeah, I think, this very much makes sense when you think about logistically what is going into that area.
Yeah.
I was hoping it was a queue expansion, but a little disappointed that it's
they
not.
They might still.
Yeah,
I mean, there's fair. You never know.
But the thing is that because of Cars Land and Villains Land going in like right behind Haunted Mansion, the back, or not full backside of Haunted Mansion, but there is a whole side that was covered by trees, and they didn't really need to do anything with because the rivers of America were there. The only thing that came by there was I almost said the Mark Twain, but the Liberty Bell. You all know what I meant. Yeah. So because of that, they didn't really have to do anything with it. Since this is all changing, they obviously need to do some work to the outer facade to make sure that it like, you don't want it being like that. You look, if you're looking at Haunted Mansion from one angle, that it's like, oh, it's there, and then the other side is just like flat building, right?
Yeah.
So makes sense. Yeah.
I will say that over the past few years, the vegetation over there had gotten a little thinner to the point where if you looked, you could actually see the show building and see some backstage anyway. So, this is good. And also Disney committed when they were going to, when they said they were going to build this new stuff, that they were going to really care about sightlines because of how squished everything is. And to me, this is just part of that, right? Like, this is them actually keeping to that promise to make sure that sightlines are good, so that you're not being thrown off and seeing, you're in Haunted Mansion and you're seeing villain stuff, like, which, they kind of work together, but like, probably not really. Like, the architecture is going to be different, like the vibe's going to be different.
Yeah, I feel you could swing it, but yeah, you're right. It's a very delicate thing to not blend too many things together, right?
Yeah,
so,
it's going to be tough. It's good. And I mean, listen, Disney cares about sightlines, and they always have, and they are, except for Epcot for some reason. Epcot, you can see everything, but whatever. I always laugh when we're in Epcot, and then we just like look over to where like Guardians is, and you just see this massive show building that kind of blends into the background, but you can still see it because it's huge, and like, because they painted that color that's supposed to match the sky, and it's a pretty effective effect, but you can't hide a building that large. It's just massive.
Yeah, I feel Epcot does get that pass only because of the fact that there's not any.
It's okay for Epcot.
Epcot's theming is not fantastical the same way that Magic Kingdom's is. That's right. The best way I can put it, because Magic Kingdom's everything is very like in its own world. Yeah. Whereas Epcot is like, it's not that. It's meant to look like pavilions and whatnot. So to be fair about Epcot, it does kind of fit into the Epcot theme, because Epcot was supposed to be a real city, and in a real city you'd have buildings like that you're not going to hide, right? So yeah, you could argue that it does fit into that. I think maybe they should have actually like swung the other way and like made it into like another futuristic building of some sort, just not a square block, but
not just do like a warehouse. Yeah, I mean, I can see that.
Yeah, give it some spice on the outside, but
give it some spice.
Yeah, but back to the Haunted Mansion facade expansion. So looking at this, it does all play into the fact that where Rivers of America is, that looks like it's going to be a walking path, and probably will connect over towards Big Thunder, which again, because you can see Big Thunder right from the queue in Haunted Mansion, right? Yeah, so thinking about what that all looks like when they're done all these renovations, like I fully understand why they're doing this now, because the weird thing is that Haunted Mansion, just by the nature of it, we've looked at like satellite views and stuff before, where it's like the front of it very much gives that old Victorian mansion thing, but it does a really great job of hiding its show building, which is quite massive.
Yeah, it's big,
but this is exposing more of the side where the show building actually is, which I'm wondering what it'll look like when it's done, or if hopefully they do it in such a way that it doesn't have the same problem as we just talked about with Guardians, where it's like, oh, like here's this cool thing, but also like ignore the big square behind it, right? So
ignore the big square behind it.
Right. Like ignore the man behind the curtain. That's pretty much what they're trying to do here.
I remember when you remember when Star Cruiser first was a thing, and people were like had a great laugh about how the transport for the Star Cruiser was basically just like a van, like that they like decked out.
Yeah,
like
cute van.
Yeah. But and it was like, what do you think? Like literally all of Disney is facades with show buildings behind them. Like that's what it is. Like there's
Yeah.
everything is like that. It's, you know, you would be very disappointed to walk on the outside of the actual haunted mansion, which is, you know, a warehouse. Like that's what it is. You just have to be okay with that. Like, you know,
I see what you're saying, but okay. Counterpoint to that.
no.
Yes, everything buildings are square by nature.
Yes.
But buildings don't have to be square. And
No, sure,
I will use as a lot of people know, I am a gamer, and my other hobby outside of Disney is playing games. There is a particular game I play called Terraria, which
Okay.
I'm plugging this because there's actually an update coming for Terraria next week, and I'm excited for it. But one of the things about Terraria is building bases or building homes as you work through the game. And a lot of times people build just square boxes because the game's requirements for a base is, as long as it's a square box, it's a base, right?
Yeah.
So you can do the basic easy, just build a bunch of squares and call it good. But the game has tools for you can actually make like interesting angles. I've seen like full like mansions built in the game and stuff like that, which are, incredibly impressive. Disney, I feel, needs to take, like, yes, they can build just standard like boxes, but this is going to be a little bit of, I guess, my Disney entitlement is that I feel that because you have an entire, fleet of Imagineers at your disposal, I feel there's a bit of an expectation that they should do more than a square box.
Sure.
Is my feeling.
But you're not seeing it though. You don't see it though.
But that's what I mean, is that it like it's it is still a square box at the end of the day, but as long as they're hiding it appropriately. My only concern with this is that now that we're kind of getting into it more, it's like, oh, these renovations are going to expose things that were hidden before. And I just really hope, this facade expansion is one thing, but I hope that Disney is looking at this from a larger holistic view of, don't make it so that there's just a bunch of like, there's one section of the park where you're just looking at all the backstage stuff.
No,
right? Like
no, they would never do. They wouldn't do that. I mean, there is some of that during construction, but I don't think the final product it would be like that at all. I don't think that's going to happen.
I really hope not. So
no, I don't think so. I do still think that there's opportunity for a queue expansion here. With this work, right? Like they could still be expanding this queue, and listen now, and we kind of talked about this, right? Like they can expand it outwards because now that's all going to be like that's going to be a path over there now, right? So part of that path could be the queue expanded in that direction. Like we don't really know, right? And the facade part, we just assume that that's what they're doing and that's what that's going to look like. But there could be more to it than that, right? Because there's also
it's an order of operations thing too, and this might be the easier thing to do now because they haven't started redoing the paths and stuff around it. So yeah, you're right. Is that still may come further down the line.
I have to say it's going to be really, 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 really weird to be able to walk easily from Haunted Mansion to Big Thunder, but it's going to be great. Like I used to hate that. Like when you're done with Haunted Mansion, it's like, oh, now you got to walk 10 miles to get to Big Thunder if you want to go Big Thunder.
You got to do the full loop around Rivers of America because they're at literal opposite ends of it. But and actually, like for my situation is, in my family, my wife doesn't do roller coasters like Big Thunder. So usually when we get to that point, it's like me and my son will go off and ride Big Thunder, and she'll go to Haunted Mansion. So it was always like that's like exactly what you're talking about. That split of, we would go opposite directions in Frontierland, and then we'd either try and meet back up in Frontierland, or we would go from Big Thunder and walk all the way over to Haunted Mansion to meet my wife, or vice versa, right? So this way, when this is all done, you're right. It'll be nice to just pop over there.
That was honestly, it was so sorely needed to have a different way to get to, because like Big Thunder just always felt detached, because you just had one way in, one way out.
It was a dead end. And that's actually like when they closed down the railroad, I was always annoyed because the railroad was like the only way to get out of that corner.
Exactly.
Wasn't like walking all the way back. So
exactly. So, all right. Well, we'll have to see how that develops. But I mean, I think it semi answers our question, and you were right on the money with Q. I mean, it is part of the Q. But I mean, they are adding to the facade, so who knows what that's going to be. But yeah, I mean, it's it'll be interesting. I'll be interested to see how they blend in new stuff with the old decrepit looking, haunted mansion. So we'll have to see how that looks.
Yeah,
that's probably going to be
hard
tough.
to. I mean, they do a very good job of weathering things.
They do.
Which, I'm curious. I'm curious if newly weathered will look differently than old weathered.
yeah, exactly. Yeah. That'll be interesting. It's like when you you try to like paint or like try to match like those colors up, or like the big one for us is like siding. We want to put new siding on our house, but like to replace some of the old siding, but it's going to not match up.
Yeah, we've had to do that in the past due to like hail damage and stuff. And say, so you have a couple of pieces that are like much brighter than the old pieces, and they do eventually blend in, but for the first little bit it's like that doesn't look right.
Okay, well, anyway, so let's move on. We just talked about the Festival of the Arts, and now we're already talking about the Flower and Garden Festival, because as we know, Festival of the Arts is a short one. It's a quick one, right? And so before you know it, we're going to be at March 4th here, and we're going to have the International Flower and Garden Festival, which I don't know if you've ever been to that one, Trevor, but
multiple times.
Yeah, me too. I've been to it a bunch of times, and I really like it. It's one of the. I mean, it's not food and wine, right? Like, but it's like the topiaries and like all of the flowers and like it's just a really, I don't know. When I think of Epcot, I almost think of it when it's in the flower and garden state. You know what I mean?
Yeah, like, it's that whole like springtime vibe of it, right?
Yeah,
like you know, they have the butterfly gardens, like you said, the topiaries, the flower beds. Like it just really all like it just makes Epcot feel more more like Epcot.
It's Epcot-y.
Which I actually, like, to that point, I think the Flower and Garden Festival kind of highlights when you talk about like how Epcot was supposed to be this like prototype community thing. Flower and Garden does feel like something that would be happening in a futuristic community, right? So starting March 4th, running to June 1st, I thought it always ran further than June, but maybe I'm wrong. I thought it went like a couple of weeks into June in the past, but
maybe they're ending it early. I wonder when Food and Wine is starting this year, because
Food and Wine will be like September, right?
I mean, last year
late August,
it was like
September.
shorter last year, right? Didn't we note that Food and Wine was oddly short last year? Am I making that up? I seem to remember that.
Maybe they are shortening these up. I guess we could look at what the 2025 Food and Wine was.
Yeah, I mean, in 2025 it was August 28th it started. So
right.
So they are
September.
So they're festival lists for June and July, and most of August really. But it's. I mean, I guess they have to get themselves prepared for Food and Wine. But I don't know why it felt short last year. Yeah.
So. Okay, Flower and Garden, I actually just looked this up. So it's exactly the same. So this year it's March 4th to June 1st. Last year it was March 5th to June 2nd.
So it's the same amount of days.
It's exactly the same amount of time. So,
okay. Well, so along with that, we have the Garden Rocks concert series, which Trevor and I always enjoy talking about the bands that are at the Garden Rocks concert, because it's always an interesting mix of bands.
And it's kind of a bit of a reflection of our music taste, things that we grew up with, that yes, we are getting older, and it's sometimes a little shocking when one of your favorite bands from your childhood is playing at Disney, which is,
doesn't at Epcot. Yeah, it doesn't feel great.
It's kind of the same. We've talked about like, how, hearing, your favorite music in the grocery store is like,
yes,
not a good sign.
Yeah, like I was on hold at the grocery store the other day. I was calling them for something to pick, for like a cake, and the hold music was on, and I was like, "Oh, that's another song from my youth. Like, why are they doing this to me?" Like, it's weird. But anyway, so they got a couple new ones, and then I'm not gonna lie, none of these new ones are all that exciting. It's not.
You're not excited about the music of ABBA?
But it's not ABBA, it's the music of ABBA, which means it's a cover band of some sort.
Which I'm still fine with. I don't mind hearing ABBA. I like ABBA.
Sure.
I'm going to take the same stance as, Dipper did in Gravity Falls when he was listening to the episode where he was worried about being made fun of for listening to some song called Disco Queen, which was a rip on Dancing Queen. Yeah.
Yeah. That's funny. Yeah. Anyway, that's
ABBA's. Music of ABBA is fine, even if it's a cover. I guess it depends on how good the covers are. But
Then there's Simple Plan, Blue October, Billy Ocean. They're all returning. Then there's the orchestra, which is starring former members of ELO and ELO Part 2, which is hilarious to me because it's just an ELO and then ELO Part 2, and then the combined parts of that make up something called the orchestra.
I'm wondering legitimately how, like, one of these times there's going to be a name on here that's just like a full paragraph, because it's going to be like so-and-so that was part of this, but did this for a little bit, but wasn't quite sure. And they got coffee at Starbucks and it's just going to like be like a whole, it's funny how they're like splitting it so carefully of like, this is people from ELO, but it's not like,
it's ridiculous.
We're not setting you up for any high expectations here.
Yeah, exactly. We've got Herman's Hermits again returning, 38 Special, Chubby Checker, Sugar Ray. These are all returning. I have no idea what Information Society is.
I'm looking up Information Society right now.
Never heard of this before, but that's a new performer. Rick Springfield, though. Rick Springfield returning.
Information Society is a British band, it looks like.
Okay, that feels like a British band name, yeah.
Yeah, they're an 80s British band. I'm trying to see if I know any of their songs.
Yeah. 80s British band. I don't remember them at all. Okay, but we got Rick Springfield, Berlin, the Commodores, all returning. Then some band called the Firehouse. Again, don't know who that is. Like, no clue. Returning still, though, Air Supply, A Flock of Seagulls, Plain White Tees. Love playing Epcot, man. They're like every year. Katrina, formerly of Katrina and the Waves. Okay.
What happened to the Waves?
I don't know. Like, apparently Katrina had a falling out with the Waves.
the Waves crashed, I guess.
Oh, bad joke. 98 Degrees are going to be there again, which amazing. That's hilarious to me. The Spinners. Okay. And then Josiah Queen, who I have no idea who that is. Now, this next new person, though, I do know who they are.
I know who they are as well, because they were on...
was he American Idol?
Yes, American Idol. He was a winner of American Idol. Iam Tongi, I believe is the name. Yeah.
So I looked this up on the internet, and it said that it's you say his first name like Iam, and then his last name is actually Dongi. It's supposed to have. Is how you're supposed to say it? Yeah, I guess. But he's the Hawaiian dude that plays that plays those songs. He was in. I think he did a song for. He did the Hawaiian roller coaster ride, right? For the new
one. Yes.
Yeah, he did. Right. Okay. Yeah. So, and he was also on like the holiday special too. So he's very good. He's got an amazing voice, that guy. That would be a really cool one. I don't know that I've heard him play an original song. I'm sure he has original songs. I don't know.
Oh, I would assume he has like an album and whatnot out at this point.
I mean, I guess so. It's interesting because American Idol still in the air, obviously. And I was watching the other day, there's a commercial that came on, and I was like, well, they're still doing this American Idol thing. I was like, when's the last time they had someone famous actually come out of the show? Like, you know what I mean? Like, and I don't know. I can't think. I guess this guy's fairly popular at this point, right?
There has been a couple, but it's the hard part is that just because of how music listening is so fractured now, it's very easy to not be it. Like they promote these artists and they have like tours and careers and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But you can completely miss it. Like it's so easy to like not see anything about like American Idol winners. There was one guy that I saw, he had like a bunch of I saw things on like TikTok and YouTube shorts with him a lot. But he was an American, and I can't remember. He had a weird name. I'll have to find it here. But
well, listen. Outside of that, I mean, there's what was it? Queensryche again returning, and Maverick City Music. So, listen, this is all. This is what they do every year. They have this lineup. Not a whole lot of new this year. They're still doing the package, the dining package that you can do to get into that. They're still doing the butterfly thing. They're gonna have a scavenger hunt, all that fun stuff. Doesn't seem like there's a whole lot of like new stuff for the festival this year. I mean, I'm sure there's gonna be new food, and I'm sure we'll cover that in Food Time. But as of right now, they didn't really have anything in there saying there's anything new. But in case you're wondering what it is, now you know.
Yeah. Okay, I looked it up. The person I was thinking of, his name is Benson Boone.
Oh, okay.
But apparently he didn't. I thought he won American Idol. Apparently he quit. And because he went off and started his own music, which, turned out to go really well for him because, it was enough that, I saw him on like YouTube and stuff like that. So, you're right. American Idol is kind of a weird thing.
It's
right
still
now,
a popular
right?
show,
Yeah,
but I feel like there's not that many popular people that come off of it.
I feel like it's something where, people do it and, they use it as a springboard platform, but, I feel like whoever the winner is, there's kind of a weird, it almost feels like how like Disney Channel actors were back, or like, it's not quite a thing anymore, but there was a point where it was like, or I guess like, Britney Spears and kind of onward, where it was like, they would do the Disney Channel thing, and then that stigma of doing Disney Channel would kind of affect the rest of their career. And I feel like American Idol kind of does that for people as well, where it's like, oh, well, you won American Idol, so you're not like a serious artist or something, like, which is that's not fair, that's not how that should be taken. But that's how it always seems to come across, as like, people who win American Idol don't, or even like America's Got Talent and stuff. It's like, it's such a weird thing. And the fact that, I guess, it makes sense that, playing like Flower and Garden and stuff, we shouldn't be saying, if you're playing Flower and Garden, that there's something wrong with your career.
You're washed up.
That's not fair. I mean, it's just, it's just such a, like I said, it's an odd thing to be walking through a theme park and seeing like, a band that you idolized in your youth.
38 Special. Yeah.
For me, it was Sugar Ray. It's like,
Sugar Ray. Yeah.
If I saw Sugar Ray, I'd be like, oh, like that's weird.
The ones that crack me up are the ones that like are older bands where they don't even have like any of the original members left, or like have one original member. The rest of it is different. It's like, all right, well, because like how many original members does 38 Special still have? Any?
Yeah.
One, maybe.
Yeah, exactly. Like it's kind of a, I don't know. The whole thing about, rebuilding the boat is it's still the same boat.
Yeah. All right. Well, listen, let's move on here. I got some merch stuff on here. I don't really care about this Valentine's Day merch stuff because it's, I don't know, feels kind
Valentine's Day is kind of a non-day.
Yeah.
We've never, or I guess, okay, in my relationship with my wife, we agreed very early on that I think we did Valentine's Day like once or twice, and then we were like, I don't need to like Valentine's Day is not a big thing. Rightfully, for people that want to celebrate it, perfectly fine. But we were like, that's not a thing for us. So it's funny though that Disney is like trying to. They're pushing a bunch of merch with like hearts and stuff on it, which I guess here's my question to that is, they got these like cute Valentine's Day plushies and, sweaters and stuff. Like, if I got like Valentine's Day apparel, I'm not wearing it the rest of the year.
No,
right?
no,
Like,
that's weird. Yeah, no, I'm not doing that. Yeah, that's why I don't even really want to talk about it because nothing in there really interests me all that much. It's this other merch, this other 2026 Disney World merch though does interest me.
Not even these Chippendale fuzzy Crocs.
Yeah, but those aren't even Valentine. Like this is the problem.
Yeah, they're in the Valentine's one, but they're fuzzy Crocs. So
yeah, they're fuzzy. Listen, those are cool. However, what about those is Valentine's Day?
I don't know.
Right? Okay, that's what I'm saying. Like, what? Okay. There's nothing Valentine's Day about those, right? Like, maybe you would give them to somebody for Valentine's Day.
I guess.
But, yeah, I don't know. Yeah. Okay, but they're $80, by the way, too. I just looked these up because I wanted to see how. Because my daughter loves Chippendale and she also loves Crocs, and if I got these for her, she'd lose her mind. But $80 is crazy. I'm not spending $80 on that.
yeah. I can't justify Crocs for $80.
No, that's
they got to be nicer shoes if I'm spending $80.
Yeah, no, I want to talk about this other stuff, Trevor. So I want. Yeah. So Disney's putting out their 2026 Walt Disney World merch. Mm-hmm. And obviously this is not all they're putting out for the year. They get stuff in throughout the year, but they're starting off here with the Walt Disney World Storybook Collection, and this one is kind of like it's just got a bunch of the animated characters on it, really, right?
Yeah, it's like a large mural of characters, and this looking at the last couple of there's looks like a jacket and a bag.
Yeah.
These kind of remind me of the bags that they like they used to do the plastic bags that had like all the characters on them.
Oh yeah.
It reminds me of that. Also giving some 90s vibes, but definitely updated. Like there's a lot more detail to it. There's way more going on in it. Like the more I look at it, it's like, oh gosh, there's so many characters in here.
Well, and I like that they have. I just know, like they have the hitchhiking ghosts in there. Like that's pretty cool, right? Like
it kind of blended with the trees, though. I almost didn't see them at first.
Yeah, I almost didn't see them either. And I mean, like Maleficent's going around the castle. Yeah. It is interesting that, to your point, it is updated, but it also somehow has a 90s vibe, and I don't understand why. Like, because it doesn't feel outdated. It's got like the 90s thing, but I don't know what's indicating that to me. You know what I mean? Like
I said, I think it's because I remember that there was bags where it had like the character standing in front of the castle. I think that's what's giving it.
Yeah, okay.
Is that kind of aesthetic, but yeah, this feels like an HD remake of 90s.
Yeah,
is the best way I can put it. When you get like the old movies that are like cleaned up and high def and all that. That's what this is looking like to me. Is that they took some old merch pictures and they've cleaned them up and are redoing them here. But yeah, like I said, I'm not bashing on that at all. I think it's a great aesthetic. Like this is the kind of Disney World gear that I would definitely
forget
go
that
for.
stuff, Trevor, because I want to go to the best park day ever.
Best park day ever, yeah.
Collection, because this one is stuff I would actually buy. Like, so the one they have a shirt here that has like a bunch of the characters. They have the icons from the 4 parks. They have a monorail. They've got Mickey, Minnie, and all that. But then there's also one too of one of the vehicles of Main Street too, which is like a little sweatshirt, and it almost looks like Walt Disney World is stitched on there. Yeah, and that's a cool looking image. I feel like you don't see that all that often.
That's unique for sure. Like having the characters in in one of the Main Street automobiles is it's a cool thing that this goes back to we've talked about Disney branching out beyond just the like Mickey ears on their merch, right? Like this is exactly it. Is that it's like, hey, it's still Mickey Mouse, but it's different. It has something interesting to it.
Yeah, and we also of course have a Spirit jersey that's part of this as well, and you got some new ears that are a similar kind of style. There's also a sweatshirt that says "Most Magical Day Ever" on the back of it.
Mm-hmm.
So those are cool. But if we keep going here too, my favorite, Trevor,
the Four Parks collection.
The Four Park collection.
Yeah, the Four Parks collection is
where it's at. Yeah.
That's it.
That's
that is
right
it.
There. Yeah, that is. I want multiple things in here. So I don't even know how to describe this, Trevor. It's like a really.
They're almost like
cartoony.
They're like Epcot logos.
Yeah,
but they're the park logos for sure.
And they're in a circle. Right.
Yeah.
And so there's they have the Mickey Mouse head, and in the middle circle is each one of the park icons, which, the Hollywood Studios one keeps changing depending.
It's Tower of Terror.
It's Tower of Terror now.
They settled on Tower of Terror. That's fine.
That's where we're at. Right. Yeah. But so that's on this sweatshirt, and it says Walt Disney World down the arm, and there's cool stitching on it. I love that sweatshirt. Also, they have a different sweatshirt too. And my wife has a sweatshirt that's similar to this that has it's an Epcot one. Yeah, it's a hoodie, and it's an Epcot one for the anniversary, and then inside like the lining has like a bunch of different stuff. But this one is similar. It has the four park icons, and it's stitched onto the back of it, and it says Walt Disney World. And the design is very cool. I really really like it. Go ahead.
And then they show there's some Mickey ears and a magic band as well. The one thing I'll say as well is, beyond the designs of it, I like the color palettes that they're using. It's almost like it's not, I don't even know what the proper term it almost looks pastel, but it's a little more vibrant than pastel colors. So it's not like in your face like super bright and colorful, but it has some unique palettes to it, right?
It does. Yeah. I love this design. I am going to end up buying something of this. Maybe this first hoodie on there. I'm
hoping to see what else comes out of this. There's this backpack too, which looks to have an ear holder built into it.
Is an ear holder built in, or they
they have a set of ears like tucked in between the front pouch, and So that's not part of the bag. That's the ears. It says
a backpack designed to hold your ears.
Yeah.
What? That's crazy.
I mean, people do it all the time. People will figure out all kinds of ways to attach their ears to their stuff as they're walking around the park. So
I just like that that's a custom designed backpack and not just an off the shelf. Like they actually put some thought into that.
Yeah. Again, this whole collection is, and this is even the whole collection. Like I'm assuming we're going to see more. I would think more of this stuff throughout the years. But yeah, I like this 4-part collection.
I would buy this magic band too. I'd rock this magic band. Yeah,
yeah. That magic band is awesome.
Yeah, and then last but not least, there's the Castle collection, which is there's this bright pink sweatshirt with like an outline of the castle in gold. There's some gold ears with the castle on it. A spirit jersey. I mean, I guess you'd call that a spirit jersey, is it? I mean, the third one there, where it says Disney World's on the back and there's the castle and all that.
The only thing that this collection has going for it is gold lettering.
Yeah. I mean, this is I'm not a fan of this one.
Yeah, I mean, okay, this collection is not made for us, I think, is what this is telling me. I'm not saying it's the worst collection, but looking at it, it's it's very minimalist drawings of the castle, and then with the gold lettering on it, which if that's fine, if that's the aesthetic you're looking for, but it doesn't have the 4 parks collection has a lot of unique little bits. Like there's a lot to look at in it. The best day ever, all the other collections are very there's lots of detail. This one is, I think it's the minimalist approach of it that is getting me.
I also just, listen, based on the images that are here and the designs, it seems like it's a line that's a little more geared towards women and not for all. Not to say you can't. I'm just saying all of the models here are women.
I mean, the spirit jersey could, it's...
You could.
I could figure out how to make it work if I really needed to.
I would say the thing I like the most on this is actually the bag in the last picture here. That bag looks kind of cool, but it's not like a bag I'm carrying around. It might be something my wife wants. It's like a purse. I don't know if it's a purse or it's just a bag, or I don't know what it is.
It looks like a bag, but it almost looks like something from like a high end.
It looks like
store.
fancy. Yeah.
It looks super fancy, and I think that's the thing is, this is totally a valid aesthetic that, if you're looking for Disney World but fancy, like this is it. But looking this next to all the other collections we just looked at, this one to me is not super exciting. And again, not for the fact that it's like, yes, it is mainly focused as, a collection for women. It's more so that it's very minimalistic, which feels very odd next to all these other ones that are super detailed.
And maybe I'm wrong on that. I just noticed that it's very all the models in it are women, and it seems like it's geared a little bit more towards that. But maybe they have other parts of the collection they just haven't shown yet. That
I see people, wearing ears and stuff all the time. Like, it's
wear whatever you want, do whatever you want. I don't care.
Let's make it work. Make it work. Like,
no judgment from me here.
Yeah.
I'm just saying, like, it feels like they're doing.
How they're modeling it is definitely it's targeted at women for sure.
Yeah, seemingly. All right, so last but not least here, Trevor, let's move over to Disneyland. We'll give our Disneyland friends a little bit of love here. And talk about the Napa Rose restaurant at Grand Californian reopening on February 6th after a reimagining here. And I have to tell you, Trevor, I have dined in a lot of nice Disney restaurants, but this looks bougie, man.
Napa Rose is bougie. It is very bougie.
Like I don't know what it looked like before. I mean, I'm pretty sure I've seen pictures, but this looks really.
Honestly, the aesthetic has not changed at all from, because I've been stayed at the Grand Californian. Napa Rose. It doesn't look much different, but there's definitely little elements and stuff that they've updated, like around the booths and lighting and all that kind of stuff. It is, like you said, it's a very nice restaurant at the end of the day.
Trevor, please zoom in on the first picture and look at the hostess, and that's all I'm going to say. just do that.
The 1,000-yard stare.
She looks like an alien. What is going on there?
Okay, I
feel like it's gonna haunt
I
me.
hope somebody actually sketched this and that they didn't just try to throw stuff in there with AI.
Or take an actual picture and run it through that filter in Photoshop that makes it look like it's a painting or whatever.
But who stands there like that?
That's what I'm saying. It doesn't look right. It's concerning to me. It doesn't look like a human.
Like they're like staring off into nowhere.
Yeah,
they've got like one arm on their hands on their hip, and they're kind of like tilted sideways. I'm sitting here trying to like do the position that they're standing in, and I'm like,
it's weird.
There's no way you would stand there like that, especially as a greeter for a hotel.
No, definitely not. So anyway, so they it's reimagined. It's available to book reservations starting January 27th. So if you're listening to this, you're pretty close to being able to do it. And then it's going to reopen on the 6th, like I said. It looks very, very nice. It looks really well done. There's some new menu items. Again, this looks too bougie for me. I
think these menu items look fantastic.
They do.
I mean,
it's just a little bit it's a little too close to Victoria Albert's, and like as far as like fanciness goes, and I'm just not comfortable with that level of fancy.
I mean, wouldn't you want to have bone marrow custard? Or
that sounds disgusting. I'm not.
Or something called a laughing tiger, which I'm guessing is this first one with the striped.
Is that what that is?
Something. I'm not sure what that is, but it's got like the striped piece on the bottom.
Yeah, I'm not even sure where the bone marrow custard is.
I'm guessing it's the middle picture of the set of 3.
Okay, so it's the little like crock pot thing that they or a crock that they opened. Okay, weird. I think the laughing tiger is the last one, right?
So there's the smiling tiger salad.
So this is a reimagining of that called the laughing tiger instead of the smiling tiger.
Oh, okay, all right. I thought it was the picture up above, but yeah.
Okay. Well, listen, these
beef
dishes
tartare. Yeah. Okay. I mean, they're serving beef tartare. So if you know what,
beef tartare is.
it's that kind of bougie. Which
it looks very nice. It does. It looks really good. It looks great, right? I mean,
if you're staying in anywhere in the Disneyland resort, checking out Napa Rose is worth it.
I'm not gonna lie though. This also seems like one of those places where I'd eat my meal and be like, "You guys want to go get some some other food?" Like, you know what I mean? Because
so here's
portions are so small, it feels like you'd still be hungry afterwards.
Yeah, but so here is the thing about that resort is that from where Napa Rose is, you can very easily, like in 2 minutes, you're in California Adventure.
Yeah.
You can walk over to I forget the naming now. It used to be Pacific Wharf, where they had all the different food options. Like you can have a great dining experience here, and then you can go into the park and you can get corn dogs. Like
that's what I don't
fine.
I don't want a restaurant where I have to eat after my meal. You know what I mean? Like have to eat again.
I get what you're saying, but I also do appreciate that, these are,
I get it.
This is an experience. It's not, I'm not going here for a buffet. I'm going here for an experience.
I'm a little more lowbrow than you, Trevor. So
Wolf, like I would go and have this, then I'd be like, yeah, I'm still hungry. Let's go get corn dogs. Like,
yeah, that's fair.
Yeah.
Oh, I said it again.
Y'all know what's up with the corn dogs. So
yeah. All right, let's wrap this up, Trevor. I think this has been a fairly comprehensive show.
Yeah, we've been all over the place. Which
that's what I meant by comprehensive, right?
Yeah.
We're just all over the place, but that's what we like to do. So
yeah. I guess it's my turn to say things, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. It is. You gotta. Yeah, that's.
Yeah. Okay. So, I guess we'll start by mentioning our email address. So, as usual, if you guys want to reach out to us, you can always find us at welcomehomepodcast@gmail.com. We love hearing your trip reports, getting your questions, and all that kind of stuff. You can also find us on Facebook as Welcome Home Podcast. You can find us on YouTube as Welcome Home Podcast. You can find us on Instagram as Welcome Home Pics. On Facebook, make sure you check out our group Welcome Home Disney Waitlist, where we talk about all kinds of things from the show, and people are sharing their own trip reports, and again, just having Disney conversations. That's really all we want, is a place to talk about Disney and enjoy it together. So if you're interested in that, please check us out. And if you'd like to help support the show, you can go to store.welcomehomepodcast.co and check out our different merch there. And, maybe you need some shirts or something for an upcoming trip. If you get some merch, we'd love seeing pictures of it as well. You can always post that into the group or send it to us via email or whatever. We also do have a Patreon. So you can go to patreon.com/welcomehomepod and check out our different levels of Patreon support that have an exclusive logo that you can only get on Patreon. And all of our Patreon supporters get access to the Discord server, which as we've talked about in the past, we have all kinds of great conversations on Discord as well that, span Disney and sometimes other random things as well. You never know. Sometimes off topic can be crazy. Lately, it's been talking about the cold weather you guys have coming. So, that's been the main topic of focus. But so if you want to come, hang out with us in there, check out our Patreon. And last but not least, if you're listening on iTunes or Spotify or anywhere you can leave us 5 stars, please do so. It's just another way to help get the podcast out there, and helps more people find it. Also, you can tell your friends about it too. You don't just have to rate us on those platforms, but we'd love to get out to as many people as possible that would be interested in this kind of stuff. And you can also write us a review on iTunes to let us know what you think about the show as well, because we do like hearing that people are enjoying the show, or that that they have any thoughts or anything about it.
Yeah, and don't forget to subscribe to Welcome Home Podcast so you can be reminded every time we release an episode. You can find us on Apple Podcasts, Amazon Music, TuneIn, Stitcher, Spotify, YouTube Music, just about any place you can find podcasts, you can find us. Just look for Welcome Home and the one that's Disney and DVC, right? So look for that one. That's us. And, if you're listening to this already, you obviously found us somewhere. But if you want to listen to us somewhere else, you can do that too. So huge thank you to first of all Carrie from DVC Resale Market for being here today, and also DVC Rental Store for sponsoring this episode. I've been saying World DVC for a while, even though they're Keyholder Vacations now. Apologies, but yeah, Keyholder Vacations. Check them out for like literally every Disney need you could possibly want. We're gonna have some more people on this year from Keyholder to talk through like buying tickets and all sorts of stuff that they do. They do tons of stuff. So. Anyway, so thank you to them. Carrie was great as always. So join us next time for more Disney Parks discussion. Of course, more DVC talk. We hope to see you all real soon.
This is Skipper Albert Awol, the voice of the jungle, signing off from Welcome Home Podcast on the DVC. To a house when we had a child, how she can cuddle, she's no man's affair. I look around for all the home. Found her in her sugar bowl. Hey, look out! Hey!